Hey kids, we're just calling to tell you Dad and I are done. We are finished. That's right. We are done being frugal.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality, or Dewey this week.
Well, you might think after 36 years of being frugal that we do all the frugal stuff, but that is not the case. We're going to reveal 15 things that most frugal people do that we simply do not do.
The first thing, and I think a lot of you do a really good job with this, that we don't do is have a garden. We've tried in the past, but we have not succeeded very much in posting our own garden out in the backyard.
At the old house, we did have a very successful garden for 2 years, but at the new house, we've had absolutely no luck.
Not at all.
Habit number 2, extreme couponing. This is the people that walk into the grocery store, they get $200 worth of food for like $5.58. That is not us. We are huge fans of coupons. We're huge fans of finding discounts, of buying loss leaders, of stacking up when you find something at a low price, stocking up on it. But we're just not huge fans of going out and chasing all the coupons you possibly can find because it gets a little bit confusing to do that.
And I think it gets really burdensome after a while. It takes a lot of your time in order to chase down all the coupons, go through the store with your little box and match up the coupons to the items. It's very time consuming. The next item is chasing all the deals. Now, there's a lot of things that are on sale at the stores, and I'm going to really think about groceries more than anything else. We have a lot of grocery stores in our area, and to try to chase all of those deals would be just overwhelming for us.
What you wind up doing is driving all over town in order to save just a few dollars. So if the can of corn is 50 cents more at Kroger and you're only going across town to Hy-Vee to buy one item, which is that can of corn, you might be better off just staying at Kroger and paying the extra 50 cents for the can of corn. One of the things we're trying to point out is that time is money.
Yes.
And your time, your gasoline, that's all worth something when you're trying to find deals. Here's the other problem with chasing down deals. You're on Facebook and your friend says, "Oh my gosh, you have got to go to Walmart. They've got such and such. It's marked down 75%. You weren't planning to go to Walmart. You weren't planning to buy anything. And you find yourself in your car driving to Walmart because somebody said, there's a deal there. There's an adrenaline that comes from finding deals. It's a spike in your adrenaline. If you're not careful, that becomes something that you want to seek out again and again and again. And if you're feeling like there's no purpose in your day because you haven't found a bargain, that might be a sign that there's a problem there.
The other problem with chasing all the deals is that you might end up going after items that really aren't on your grocery list. These aren't items that you have budgeted for. So you might end up overspending by trying to save the money.
Habit number 5 is a controversial one, and it may surprise you that we don't do it. But before I reveal what that habit is, if you're watching and you're thinking, look, I just want to know how to cut my expenses in the first place. That's really where I'm at in life right now. Then you want our guide to radically reducing your expenses. It's the top 10 things that we did when we were saving for great big goals on a low income. It's a free guide. I'm going to make sure that there's a link to it in the description of this video. So what is this? Number 5. That's controversial.
Number 5 is keeping items until they absolutely fall apart. And there's a lot of things wrong with this strategy. One of the things that I find wrong with it, especially as applied to our transportation, if you keep a car until it absolutely falls apart, it won't be worth very much. You might end up throwing a lot more money on repair, and you also might run out of time in order to hunt for a better deal on your next vehicle that's going to replace the one that's falling apart. I would move that up a little bit and start looking for a car before your old one is falling apart.
My dad always told me if it's running, it's worth more money.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you're trading it in when it's actually running. For us, it became super important not to keep cars until they literally fell apart and weren't drivable anymore, because we really like to gift our cars to a needy family that needs reliable transportation. So before we gift a car to them, we make sure that it's got 4 good tires on it and that it's in good running condition and the oil has been changed. So that's something that's super important to our families, making sure that not only are we making sure that we save money, but we're making sure that we care for others in our community. Habit number 6, sewing your own clothes. Yes, my friends, if it's a button or it's a seam, I can do it. Other than that, I am completely and utterly lost.
Number 7, changing your own oil on your car. I used to do that. I used to back the car up, put it on ramps, change the oil. It's not hard to do. We have quit doing it now, and I go ahead and take it to the garage, let them do the 30-point checklist that they do on it, go over the car, make sure everything's working well, and I relax and maybe have a little bit of peanuts while I'm reading while they're changing it. Yes. So we don't change the oil on the cars.
Habit number 8, becoming minimalists. We are not minimalists.
Not even close.
I will say that we are all about, at this stage in our life, of organizing everything that we own and only keeping the items that we really like and we really want. So we are, by default, I think, becoming more minimalist.
We're getting there.
But that is not really our goal. Our goal is to organize the house and not leave a bunch of stuff for our kids to go through one day when we are gone.
Habit number 9 is OMAD Eating. I'm reading it right off of our script. I have no idea what OMAD Eating is. I try not to be mad when I'm eating. I try to be grateful. What is OMAD Eating?
All right, you're going to tell us in the comments if you know what OMAD Eating is. It is 1 meal a day.
Oh, that's why I don't know what it is.
Our dear friend Prepper Princess is a 1 meal a day person. She only eats 1 meal a day. That is definitely not something that Larry could do. Like 10 minutes after his feet hit the floor, he's like, where is the breakfast?
I have to have breakfast.
He's hungry.
No way around that.
Very hungry first thing in the morning. Not something we're going to do, guys. Maybe frugal, but we're not going to do it.
Number 10 is belong to a food co-op. Now, we used to belong to a food co-op, but we no longer do.
Part of the reason why we stopped belonging to the food co-op is that we found cheaper places to purchase what we were already purchasing at the food co-op. So a food co-op, in case you don't know, is where people in one area band together and they make one order to a large food distributor. United Foods is one of those distributors who has a lot of food co-ops across the United States. So you only pay for one transportation fee, and then you get together at a centralized location and you distribute everybody's order to them, and everybody pays and everybody goes away happy until the next month when you also do your next group order. It works great. In fact, I was in charge of one of these food co-ops for a couple of years. It just stopped working for us as well. We found out that our local Amish community, which is about an hour drive from us, their prices were as low or lower than the food co-op. And we got to pick when we went, when we shopped, and when we picked up. So it was just much better. It was just a seasonal thing. We're not against food co-ops. It just was not a good season for us now.
Number 11 is refuse to pay for streaming. Now, we're talking about streaming services to either your computer or your television. And I have to say, I do kind of fall in line with this one because I would never pay for streaming services. You think I would?
You would never pay for streaming service. There's one of us in this group of 2 that is willing to pay for occasional streaming service. Look, we've talked about this before, and there's no problem with having Disney Plus or having Hulu or having Paramount Plus or Amazon or Netflix, which is what we have right now. We think it's fine as long as you have maybe one of those streaming services at a time. You have them for a short period of time, and then you decide not to have them for a while and you go on to the next one. It's a great way to catch up on all of those new releases on that streaming service. And then you're only paying for one at a time. However, having said that, right now we have Netflix because I requested it for 2 months, but Larry would never, ever have gotten Netflix.
Nope. Always buying the cheapest item. Now, we don't do this. We've talked about this on previous videos. The reason why we don't always buy the cheapest item, because the cheapest item may not be the best deal. It might not be the item that will last the longest, be well made, well constructed. You want to get an item that's really going to last and hold up over time and be pretty much maintenance free. So if you do all that, you can't really settle for the cheapest item.
I think that frugal habit is thoroughly rooted in a misunderstanding of frugality at its heart. A lot of people feel like if you're frugal, it also means that you're cheap, and that is not the case. Being frugal isn't about never spending money and never buying nice things. It's about spending less on things that don't matter as much to you.
That's right.
So that when you're ready to buy those nicer things, you've got money set aside to pay cash for them.
Exactly.
Habit number 13
is cutting our own hair. Now, we used to do this more in the past, although I've never had Hope cut my hair. I think she probably would do okay doing it. I just never have. We no longer do this. Hope goes to a professional. I go to the same one she goes to, and the boys get their hair cut as well. We just don't do the home haircuts anymore.
Look, guys, I cut my own hair for 26 years. And after 26 years of being frugal, I have enough money in my budget to pay a professional hairdresser to cut my hair every 8 to 12 weeks. It's spend money on what's important to you, and for me right now, it's having the luscious layers in my hair. It makes me feel so much better. Habit number 14, making everything from scratch. It might surprise you that there are some convenience foods that we are willing to pay for, specifically at certain times in our lives. And we mentioned this, I think, a while back, maybe when we talked about him breaking his arm and me breaking my arm. And, it's been the saga. It's been the broken arm saga for a while around here. And so I quit baking bread. I actually quit baking bread a little bit before that. It just wasn't, we were busy, we had teenagers, we had stuff going on. Yeah. And we went, you know what? This is a great habit. When all 4 kids were young and they were at home, I baked bread every week. But then it became something that just didn't fit into our lifestyle at that time. And that's the thing you need to understand about frugality. Frugality sort of morphs as you go through different seasons of life, and people get all bent out of shape about saying, because you do that, you are not frugal. No, you can still be frugal and do these things.
Another item on our list is never going out to eat and never going out for coffee. We don't really go out to eat very much. In fact, if we go out to eat, usually we'll go bring food back here. We'll end up eating it back here. Coffee, we love every once in a while to buy a coffee. We really don't buy too many of them, but we're not totally against doing these in order to save money. If you like to go out to eat some and drink some special coffee at Starbucks or wherever you happen to go, enjoy doing that. I don't have a problem with that. We just budget for it.
Not Starbucks, guys. Everybody should have their own favorite local coffee shop.
Well, sure.
CXT Coffee. CXT Coffee. That's where you want to go in our neck of the woods. But definitely everybody should have their own coffee shop that they frequent, because it is super important to us to support small, locally owned businesses. Yes. Now, we have continuously been frugal despite the fact that the things we've talked about in this video we no longer do. Now, if you want a list of frugal habits that will help you to spend less money consistently and reach your financial goals, there are a lot more that we didn't talk about in this video. There's some of them right over there.